What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. So we're going to be doing a bit of a review, assessment, how I like to do reaction videos. But I like doing it from creators like Aaron, and because we're going to get a lot more insight and we're going to go deeper into the map of truth and justice. So we all know that anybody going through a breakup right now is usually suffering from these two emotions, desire and fear. Desire being the lusting after, the wanting that person back, lacking the love, lacking the attraction. They're in a very lacking state, and also a fearful state, fearful that they're not going to get that person back, not going to find love again. And as you can see, the I lose, right? The actual experience is, unconscious to surviving, hopelessness, despair. You guys can all see it right here. I don't need to read it to you. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at Aaron's video. But before we do that, I want you guys to know that I am running a program called Money School. Now, what Money School is it is a place where you can learn how to make money online. I have done it in multiple different avenues, agencies, blogging portfolios, and YouTube have been my main ones, and some small ones here and there that are not there. And this right here is the result of one of the blogs that are in. And this is where we are getting the results in Money School. This is the kind of stuff that you guys can expect to do. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, guys. Listen, you're learning how to make actual money. You're learning how to start a business. You're learning how to, actually become a better version of yourself. Because if we look at this chart, money is going to start right here in this courageous place. You might even experience a little bit of anger, which then needs to drive you up to here, because this is where you take real action. So Money School is a Discord server where I have courses, and then of course, 10% is the courses. The rest is me coaching you through it, mentoring you through it. So Money School is available. It's still open right now. So if you guys are interested in that, join the free Discord, shoot me a message. You guys will see how to join the free Discord in the description box. Shoot me a message, and you'll see my name and the people that are, at the top there in Discord. My email is also in the description box. My Instagram is there for you. My Twitter is there for you to reach out to me. So you guys can literally send me a message saying, 6 figures or whatever. I'll put something in the description box for you to follow. I'm creating a landing page for it very, very soon. I'm just busy. My son is almost here, so I'm getting ready for that. Anyway, so this is just one blog, okay? These are the kinds of results that you're able to achieve and attain for yourself with my mentorship, and you guys can learn how to get yourself to a financially free place. And I'll tell you why. I really want this for you. The 9-to-5 grind is a serious soul sucker for most people. Most people, I'd say about 80 to 90% of people hate their 9-to-5 jobs. They're only doing it because they were told to. Now, if you became financially free, you would actually have, so let's say you're in this box, right? And let's say all of your favorite things to do are outside this box. And because you're in this box most of the time, after, let's say 5 o'clock, this box springs open, and this is you tapping into the things that you like to do, right? This could be friends. This could be a relationship. This could be whatever. Okay. Now, this is how you can seriously accelerate your learning and your advancement as a soul, is getting out of this box. Okay. Deleting this box altogether. Why? Because when you take back all of your time, and now you can focus on all of your interests. Say you like to read. Well, when you read, especially nonfiction books, you're going to attain new knowledge, and knowledge is never evil. It's the application of it, and who gets that knowledge, of course, can be good or evil, but you can always attain more knowledge. You can always become smarter, better, learn new skills. So, of course, everybody that watches my channel and knows about the 6 pillars. If you don't know it, Health, wealth, skills, mindset, social circle, and relationships are what make you you. Now, of course, there are things that are more, intricate. However, all of this stuff that I'm telling you is going to make you attractive or depending on what you're doing. And most people are balancing between attractive and repulsive energy. Sometimes they do more repulsive energies and push relationships away, push money away. All the things you want fall under an energetic signature. And getting rid of repulsive energies, anchors in your life, people just getting unstuck is going to raise your vibration naturally, because it's kind of like, again, an anchor is something that weighs you down and stops you from being you. So then you can express everything you're meant to express in this courageous energy and emotion here. So the coaching isn't even just really about how to make money. It's how to move forward even when you're scared, and how to, like, you're going to learn things, but the difference between people who are successful, because I have several successful students, the difference between people who are successful and aren't is obviously consistency, but it's asking questions. And asking questions, sometimes people are afraid to ask questions. And what do you need to do? Be courageous enough. Who cares? People like me, like I'm a mentor to people, right? Literally, ask questions. Because when you ask questions, that is your way of displaying and talking to the universe that there's something that you want to know and learn. And I don't know why, especially younger generations are afraid to ask questions, like they're going to get judged, right? So anyway, Money School is available, and I will mentor you the entire way. And if anybody's interested in it, let me know, email me, message me, whatever. And again, when you become, so I think I nailed this, but when you become financially free, you're actually able to do more of the stuff you're interested in, which will raise your vibration naturally. Okay. You're going to be floating up here. So, and when you're doing that, you're going to attract everything in your life that you want. Seriously, that's what I did. That's why I'm preaching this stuff. That's why I talk about financial freedom so often, because it is so important to getting to a higher consciousness level. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Let's go.
This video for a reason.
Actually, let's do this. Sound. Let's put on the headphones. Let's do that.
And I'm just going to come out here and say it. This isn't the easiest thing to share with you. And there's a lot of transformation that can come from realizing this, though. If you are attracting emotionally unavailable people into your life, it's because at a certain level, you are emotional. So you clicked onto this video.
Okay, let's get started. Let's go.
For a reason. And I'm just going to come out here and say it. This isn't the easiest thing to share with you. And there's a lot of transformation that can come from realizing this, though. If you are attracting emotionally unavailable people into your life, it's because at a certain level, you are emotionally unavailable. Now, I know this is hard to hear, and I had to swallow this pill, and it was not easy pill to swallow, okay? Here I was experiencing relationships where the people I would attract would be emotionally unavailable, and then I had this story, oh, they're just not emotionally present, they're avoiding doing the work, they're not choosing me. And deep down, what I eventually realized is that I would only attract that because it's a mirror of my own energy. I was also emotionally unavailable, and that's why I was attracting someone that was emotionally unavailable, because it was a mere direct reflection. So you might ask yourself now, okay, Aaron, well, you're saying I have this thing where I'm actually emotionally unavailable.
And always remember, guys, like energy attracts like energy. So, okay. So Aaron's talking about his, experience. And as a person that's been helping people with the dating stuff over several years now, I have realized, especially like as I coach mostly men will go after the same type of woman over and over and over again. And sometimes these guys will expect these women to change. Right? So Aaron's kind of alluding to something a little bit different, but I'm just telling you my perspective. So like energy attracts like energy. Fearful people usually attract other fearful people. And, in the opposite, really high vibe people want to be with and attract really high vibe people because they won't settle for less. Now, it's rare to find people that are here in these energies. It is very rare. And that's why it's harder for people that are in these energies to find relationships, because there's so many people that are down here. The vast majority of the population is down in the lower energies. So, but when these people do connect, their relationships are far better because they're open. They're open to communicating. They're open to compromise. They're open and trustworthy. And I have a video to come out with called "Don't Date Somebody Who Wants to Know Your Location." And what do I mean by that? Well, some people are going out and dating now, right? And I was just coaching a guy that was talking about this, and he's like, the girl that I was seeing wants to know my location, like my Snapchat location or whatever it is the kids are doing. And I'm like, bro, why? Right? That's a huge, huge red flag. Why? Let's talk about that real quick. Location. They want to know where you're at all times. That is a huge red flag. So I'm going to let you guys look at this and go, okay, which emotion is that person that wants to know a location at all times exuding? And if this is you, just buckle up, because I'm not going to be easy on you. So if you're a person that needs to know somebody's location at all times, this is major fear. Okay. And this is you. Most of the time people want to know where you're at, and they'll ask you, where are you? And they'll be like, okay, I'm over at like this place, you know, I'm at the movies or whatever. I'm at this bar, or I'm here. And even that person knows they gave you the location, so they're not going to lie to you about where they're at. Right. But it's just showing that person, the person that is giving the location to the person who's asking, you're majorly insecure because you don't trust the fact, you don't have trust for someone. Okay. So trust is right here. It's a high vibe It's a high vibe. Okay. When you're trusting somebody. So when somebody wants to know your location, they are so scared that you'll hurt them that they're going to try to prevent every single possible way that you'll cheat on them, that you'll be somewhere else, you know, that you're lying or whatever. Okay. And in doing so, it's going to make the person giving their location away so annoyed and unattracted to them, that's going to drive them to want to be with somebody else anyway. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Happens all the time. And I see this in younger generations the most because, you know, obviously they're growing up with the technology. So, you know, you don't really see older people in their 40s and 50s doing this. But the fact still remains that there are people out there like telling these young people to do this kind of shit, and it's garbage. Okay. Because if somebody's going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you. You can't prevent it from really happening. So the point is to become an attractive person, the most attractive person you can be, so that you attract somebody into your life that won't do that to you. And you have to be trusting. You have to give people the benefit of the doubt. So again, and this is this is an example of like energy attracts like energy. So a person that is going to be like that, a major red flag. And I've had guys do coaching calls with me and they're like, how do I get this girl back? I'm like, why do you want a girl like that back? Why do you want a girl like that back who wants to know your location all the time? Who gets mad at you because you go out somewhere and you're 30 minutes late? You know, they're obviously talking to somebody in their life that has been absolutely like devastated by some sort of pain, right? And they're just giving that to somebody else. Watch out for men. Watch out, all these men will cheat on you, right? Like, and in mine, I had the reverse because my dad dated so many not so many, but some toxic women that I saw, you know, from afar what was going on because my mother wasn't in my life, right? So I saw what he was doing and he was like, oh, you know, be careful about women, right? And I attracted women that were, you know, my first relationship, you attract what you attract, right? You don't really know, but I attracted women that I was not compatible with, and then I was too scared to leave them because I didn't want to break their hearts, right? So again, like energy attracts like energy. Let's go back.
I thought it was them, but how do I actually become more emotionally available so that I attract emotionally available love, or I go deeper in my relationship, or whatever it is? How do I actually do that? Now, for me, what I had to learn to do is this one phrase changed everything. And I posted this on Instagram recently, and I had so many people ask me about this, and this is why I'm making the video. And basically what it was is I said, why do people choose people that don't choose them? And a lot of times people will choose people that are emotionally unavailable, that can't choose them. Why do we do that? Well, the reason we choose people that don't choose us is because we're not choosing ourselves. And then people say, Aaron, how do you choose yourself? I got so many DMs and questions about this. How do you choose yourself? How do I choose yourself? Well, I'll share with you what I did. And even just recently, within the last couple months, I began choosing myself in a way unlike anything I've ever done before. Now, I'm moving into a phase of my life where I feel very empowered. I'm moving from just making YouTube videos into running live events. I'm stepping into the unknown. I feel just so much like power beginning to like unleash within me. And as this has been happening, I've been questioning why I believed what I believed. I've been questioning why I believed people are just emotionally unavailable, believing I deserve emotional unavailability, why I am also like afraid or had that afraid energy around emotional availability to where I just wouldn't be, I would like keep it at bay. And what I realized is there was just so much of my life that I lived in survival mode where it's like my nervous system wouldn't understand what that emotional availability is, even if it was.
Okay, let's talk about that just for a sec. I'm going to rewind just for 5 seconds. Let's go back to the truth and justice. So see how he just said survival mode, just surviving. Now, I know I'm probably hanging on to just one little thing he's saying, but I see people acting like this all the time. Because earlier, like I said, I run Money School, right? And Money School is going to radically change the way that you think about money. Now, I'm not going to drop all these crazy gems of information. I'm just teaching you what to do. But people don't understand the power of leverage, right? They think trading their time for money, right, is the only way to make money. And it's not. There's leveraged income and then there's time for money. You can split these. So when I release a video, for example, and I have an offer, okay, I do this all over. Well, that's leverage because thousands of people will see the videos, and some of my other channels, it's a lot more. And then you make way more cash that way because you're getting in front of more people. But if you're trading time for money, you're only talking, first of all, you're locked into a specific place most of the time, and you're just wasting time. You're just making somebody else wealthy. Okay. And what I'm trying to say is a lot of people are in these lower emotions, a lot of fear, right? A lot of apathy, a lot of shame. Okay. And look at that. Just surviving is the actual experience, right? Just surviving is the emotion. It's how you feel. I lose, lethargic. They don't want to move. They don't want to learn. They're scared, right? Scared, very scared. So people apply this to relationships. It's the same thing. Okay. And they'll go after the same types of people because they're familiar with it instead. And here's something that's really hard, guys. And I had to do this when I was a low vibe person. Okay. I was a very low vibe person. I found somebody that was, so I was like, probably had a lot of anger. I had a lot of fear. Had some shame. And I met somebody who was generally speaking pretty high. And when you meet somebody, and you've heard me say this, so somebody's in the blue right about here and I'm down here, it's a vibrational mismatch. Okay. Meaning the person that's high value and high vibe is not going to want to stay with you for very long. They may stay with you for a year, 2 years. Then they're going to be like, why am I with this person? You're going to constantly show them why they shouldn't be with you. Okay. So the idea behind this is I had to keep this person in my life. I had to raise my vibration slowly. Okay. So I had to first, that's why I say courage is the first goal. So I had to get to a courageous place, do what I really want to do with my life. Then I had to go learn what to do. So like I said, when I teach people about making money, they have to be courageous. They're like, oh my God, I don't want to be on YouTube. I'm not saying you always have to be. It's one of the choices. But when you learn personal branding, which is in my course, personal branding can include YouTube. It can include blogging. It can include copywriting. It can include these things. And then if you're completely so scared of getting on video, it's because they look at YouTubers and they're like, oh my God, you must be like an extrovert. Not at all. I'm a total introvert, guys, 100% of the way. It takes me time to make these videos sometimes, but when I lock in that energy, it's good. Like most of you guys probably think that I'm really good at talking and stuff like this, but And I feel like I'm getting better at it, but it takes me a lot of workup to just hit record and go. And then when I'm in that pocket of energy, it's flowing, it's there, it's on point, right? And then I'll go video to video to video to video. But making the first one after I wake up in the morning and get my ass moving, sometimes it's harder than you guys might think. Now, I'm not going to sit here and whine like, I have a very good life, but guys, like that's how this stuff kind of works. And then once you work through your fears and get out of the lower emotions, and you're not just surviving anymore, because look what happens when you reach the blue: at ease, creative, cooperative, productive, right? And look at these: defeat, lethargic, I lose, just surviving, hopeless, and despair. Meaning, when you learn how to make money or have a relationship or whatever it is, you're going to have a much different perspective on how it works, and you just take the action necessary, right? And again, I teach people how to do blogging, right? And they're like, all I have to do is just write. Yes. Yes. Add value to the marketplace with your words. It's that simple. Add value to your relationships through your actions every single day. Okay. And then make sure you're doing it with a person who's reciprocating those things back to you. And so when Aaron says, choose yourself, the idea is, and I'm sure he's going to explain it, but I've never watched this video before, but it's being and keeping your awareness on you and on who you want to become, where you want to be, who you want to be, and why, and focusing on that person's interests, desires, and just putting yourself first and loving yourself for who you are and who you want to become. Confidence comes from you taking a specific action and being good at that action with evidence of that. Okay. Again, the idea of approaching 1,000 women. The first woman you approach is going to be weird and awkward and strange. To the 1,000th woman that you approach, it's going to feel like putting your underwear on. Okay. It's that simple. So I just wanted to nail that point home for you guys.
It's like my nervous system wouldn't understand what that emotional availability is, even if it was there. And what I've had to do recently is look at this and realize that a lot of times what I would do is distract myself from doing my own work by projecting it onto other people and saying, this person's not emotionally available. This person's not present. And then I would be like being able to put the work to the side. But what I've realized is that the key to me being in my own magnetic energy, the key to me feeling more emotionally available and attracting emotionally available people was when I began choosing myself. Choosing myself, meaning also appreciating myself. Mm-hmm. This meant like realizing that what I really enjoy, one of the parts of my life I really enjoy, is I like being alone. Now, this doesn't mean that I won't be in a relationship.
I'm with him there. I love being alone. I really love being alone. So if this is you, it's okay to want this. And so the first thing he said was, and do the things you enjoy. That is one of the things that Bashar also talks about. Acting on your highest passion. I'll start reacting to some of Bashar's videos, and I actually want to reactivate my more spiritual channel, I guess. But that is one of the most powerful things you can do, because it is talking to your soul. Okay, so choosing yourself is obviously doing things you like, but acknowledging what you also like and living your life that way so far.
Or I don't want a relationship or anything. This means I started appreciating being in my own energy. Literally, like at nighttime, I love learning things. I love watching certain things. I love learning and watching YouTube videos. I love reading. I love meditating. Like my subconscious, I believe, is very active. I love dreaming. I love dreaming. And I realized that I do love being in my own energy. And before that, I never realized how much I appreciated myself. I never realized how much I appreciated being alone. Not lonely, alone. They're different. Lonely is like, ooh, you don't feel at one with everything and you think there's a problem. When you're alone, you can be completely content in your own energy. And alone is very powerful. And to really attract emotionally available love, or love in general, you have to be okay. It's like once you get to a place to where you're okay being alone, and you love yourself, and you love being in your own energy, and in a way you fall in love with yourself, you put out an energy that other people feel, and then it attracts people because of that energy. But if you feel like, oh, I feel lonely, or there's not someone in my life, I need someone to be in a relationship with me for me to feel worthy, then you vibrationally are putting your own happiness on hold. You vibrationally you're making a rule that says I can only feel happy when XYZ happens. And you're then capping yourself from feeling worthy now. So What I realized also about emotional availability is that if you had a parent, did you have a parent that was emotionally or physically abandoning you as a kid? They weren't
My mother.
emotionally present with you, or they weren't physically there for you. Because what happens is, little kids, we internalize everything that's happening. If mom or dad is physically or emotionally not available, we assume it's because we're not worthy. We assume there's a level of shame that says, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. So what happens is, if we believe there is something wrong with us, we then carry that belief with us to every relationship we have. So imagine getting into a relationship where you say, I want to attract an emotionally available partner, but all you can attract from the belief of I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, is someone that can't really choose you, someone that can't really be emotionally present with you, because there's a belief there that says there's something wrong with me.
And that's another way of saying a vibrational mismatch, right? He's going deeper into it in terms of why it happens, but somebody who is high vibe knows and loves themselves, right? And they know what they want. They know who they want to bring into their life. Somebody who's a low vibe, they're very confused a lot of the time about what they want, who they are, what they're trying to do. Usually they're very quick to anger, sadness, whatever, right?
So one of the things that I had to do is I had to look at the emotional availability that I experienced growing up, and I had to recognize and realize that my parents divorcing when I was 5 was not my fault. Mom or dad's emotional availability when I was a baby was not my fault. As a kid, I believed it was my fault. But as I started to separate self from other, that was really the key. Because as a kid, you think everything's your own fault. You think that everything is you, and then eventually if you don't individuate, you then cling to other people to meet your needs. And once I stopped clinging to other people and I started realizing my own brilliance, I don't mean this from a narcissistic way, by the way, but I mean like literally you can appreciate who you are. You can appreciate being in your own energy without being narcissistic.
And the thing is, the reason he even has to say that is because so many people are low vibe that they'll see things like that and they'll say, oh my God, that's such a narcissistic thing to say. Because self-love is so rare that when somebody displays self-love, they're like, yeah, you're cocky or you're arrogant or you're a narcissist or whatever, right? And that's why he has to even say that, because people are so like low vibe. And I don't want to say it in a rude way either, right? But when somebody loves themselves, it's and they're displaying it, it almost rubs you the wrong way because you're like, whoa. And I remember when I was low vibe and I saw people who were high vibe, and I was like, you're just so positive all the time. Yuck. Ugh. You're such a like goody two. You know what I mean? We'll put them in a box. We don't even know who they are, right?
Narcissistic. Being narcissistic is when you expect everyone else to adhere to your frame and you manipulate other people to get your needs met. That's not what I mean here. But when you get to the core wound of abandonment and you realize that what you may have had is you may have had what may have been familiar for you too. Maybe as a kid it was familiar to have somebody that was emotionally or physically unavailable. So now what happens in life is you're in relationships that feel familiar to you. Now here's the thing, you attract people into your life that reflect back similar childhood dynamics of when you were a kid. So if when you were a kid, you had an emotionally unavailable mom or dad, then now it's probably natural and familiar for you to have that in your life. So you would say, why don't I attract emotionally available people? Well, that doesn't feel familiar. If you did have someone that was emotionally available to you, it'd probably feel very weird and uncomfortable. So this is why it is so important to become aware of the energy that you are embodying, become aware of what your beliefs are about relationships, become aware of what your beliefs are. Let's wait for this thing, there we go. Become aware of what your beliefs are about yourself and how you relate to other people. And for me, the biggest things that have changed my life is taking ownership, because I, for a long time, would attract emotionally unavailable people. It was always a story that it was their problem. They're not doing the work. Why do I attract this? And I realized that in order for that to change as the reflection, I had to change. I had to become more vulnerable. I had to stop capping off my personality. I had to show the real me. This meant being vulnerable in the dating process. This meant being vulnerable in the relationship, like every level of vulnerability. And here's the thing, if you're vulnerable with someone and they can't hang or they don't like it, they may reject you or not be about it, but then you save yourself time. You only entertain emotionally unavailable people when you believe that that's what you're worthy of. It's like when you look at narcissists, for example. Narcissists normally will attract empathic people. That like empathic people that accept them no matter what. That adhere to their frame no matter what. Now narcissists attract empaths because empaths are like the only ones that will put up with their BS. Because they feel like that maybe they want their frame. Narcissists do have a strong frame, and that's why empaths sometimes are attracted to it. So they want, or they can learn from them in a way of how to come up with their own boundaries and how to say no to that. But in the same way, how do you not attract emotionally unavailable people anymore? You realize that when you become emotionally available and when you start opening your heart, you will turn down, like there will be people that you're normally attracted to, and you will notice that they won't resonate with that energy. You save yourself time. It's a good thing. Because then you make room for a new standard. You make room for people that are emotionally available. Now, vulnerability is not just about crying your emotions to other people and saying, this is how I feel. Vulnerability is expressing your true emotions that you would normally hide. This means, like in the dating process for me, as I shed the whole nice guy people pleaser thing like 2 years ago, that meant when I was dating someone, I would actually show sexual interest. Vulnerability is going over to approach someone else. Vulnerability could be flirting with someone else, showing interest. Vulnerability could be expressing when you start to have feelings for someone. Could be expressing when you start to get scared. Or you start to, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling like when you said this, it made me feel that way. You normally maybe hold that back because you're afraid of their rejection. Instead, it's about becoming aware that the more vulnerability, the more open-hearted you are, the more real it is, the more authentic it is, the more courage that takes, but the more attractive you are. Not when you're coming from a place of just crying though, like, oh, this. What I mean is vulnerability from a place of power. Like, I'm gonna express this to you. And there's such a lack of vulnerability nowadays in different relationships in society in general that it's like refreshing if you can have it. So one thing I really encourage you to look at is your own emotional availability within yourself. Look at, are you choosing yourself? Choosing yourself meaning, are you setting boundaries and not doing things you don't want to do, doing things you do want to do? Are you appreciating being in your own energy? Are you honoring yourself instead of just others to get your needs met? Me, I'm like moving into a new stage of my life where like I like freedom. I like traveling. I like meeting different types of people. I like eating at great restaurants. I like doing my live events. I'm like stepping into this new me, and as I step into this new me, it's completely transforming the way that I show up in my own magnetism, my own energy. And I question the beliefs, and I question the things that say, like question the belief that says I attract emotionally unavailable people. And then start realizing, how can I be more emotionally available with myself? How can I express myself to my family members and my friends? How can I open up my heart and be more authentic? And as you do that, you will be setting a trend to where then you will attract people that are emotionally available to you. And you can shed the people pleaser persona, the empath, like feeling like you're sucking into other people's frame. You can start to be in your own frame. So the key and the cure to emotional availability, all it is very simple. You must become emotionally available yourself by being vulnerable and choosing yourself. And as you choose yourself, other people will choose you, other opportunities will choose you. It will completely change your reflection in your life. But
I'm going to tell you guys something right now. This is exactly what I did when I was, let's give him a better still than that. There we go. So this is exactly what I did, because when I was coming out of my previous relationships, I was wondering why all of my relationships were going down a certain path, why they were all ending the same way, what was going on. And I realized that I was being complacent in those relationships. That's why I can spot it so fucking easily. But also, and I realized insecurities are another big reason why relationships end. But I was never insecure, really. I was very complacent because I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know my passion. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I seemed lazy to the person that I was with. And the people that I would always go out with were usually hyper, like, they were doers, right? And when I got to my current relationships, that's almost a decade now, I had to shed so many old patterns, beliefs, and all that. And the thing is, guys, look what Aaron is saying, and you guys should probably watch this chapter. Just go to his video. I'll put it in the description box so that you guys can watch it yourselves. But I had to be vulnerable to say, look, you know what? I understand that I am a specific way, and I'm trying to change this. And the person that I am with now just accepted me for who I was. She found me attractive, obviously, and she was like, okay, you know, I see something in you, and I've said this a million times on my channel that women will date you for your potential. But then living up to that potential is a whole different thing. It's another part of the game. So it took a while because, and this is why 9 to 5 really, it just fucking made me angry, right? 9 to 5 jobs, I just saw right through the bullshit with it. And I was like, I got to get away from this. I got to become financially free, which is why I also talk about this, because people that hear me say it are going to be like, oh man, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I feel. So, and then as soon as I got that, it opened everything up because I was able to consume everything that I've been wanting to consume. I was able to invite things into my life that I was so afraid or didn't have time to open up to. So I, reading the Bible, for example. Now, I'm not a Christian by any means, but it's something that I've always wanted to do, right? Reading spirituality books, getting more into understanding again. So he's talking about being a nice guy. I never had that issue, but I had a hard time keeping relationships together because of my complacency. And then looking back at it, I was like, okay, I really like what I do now. Now I'm working really hard. Now, what else can I learn? What else can I do? What else can I apply to my life? What else can I change? What else can I adjust? What else can I make better? Right? And that is the idea behind this. And it took me, and now I understand some people, it doesn't take a 9-to-5, getting rid of the 9-to-5 to do this, but having one rubbed me the wrong way so intensely. Sounds bad. That it would drain my energy so bad that I'm a shell of who I was. So I had to get rid of it. Some people have anchors in their life, family members and friends that make them feel the same way. Whatever it is for you, the point is to get rid of it. And truthfully, I believe that, becoming financially free takes away that pressure and that low vibration, right? That low vibration. Okay. Getting out of here is just it's like you were held down by, it's like a big thing of balloons, and then they're held down by a weight, right? And the weight just lets go, and you're just, you're floating. That's the idea. So guys, go watch Aaron's channel. Obviously it's just consuming that every day is going to help you drive up. And if you want a mentor like myself, I am open to it. Money School's available. Better Man Project is available. Whatever it is that you want to learn about. There are people coming to me now that it's amazing. They're like, I don't care. I just want you as a mentor. I was like, okay, cool. Like, what do you want to learn? And we just sit down and talk. Right. And they're like, I just want to get better. I'm like, okay, in what way? And then we start talking about it, getting rid of the anchors, getting rid of all the other shit, and just how to apply that to their life. Right. So guys, I'm open for that. If you guys have questions or anything like that, everything's in the description box down below for you to click on and to view. I'll see you guys in the next video. Done.